gosh, I'm so glad you guys are here. So, during the lockdown, I had so many questions raised up, and so I took last year to just discover, travel, learn from others, go to conferences. I mean, just being like a sponge, just soaking up whatever I could about how to be healthy, how to live your healthiest lifestyle. And because I don't know the answers, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training. I have two nurses in my family, if that counts for anything. But otherwise, I have a master's degree in architecture. I design outdoor living, swimming pools, landscaping. That's what I do, and I love it. But I just kept being told. I have a lot of faith in my God above, and I do believe He's been leading me and opening up doors for me to see different things and just leading me down the path. And I've prayed that. Here you go. Show me where you want me to go. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to learn? Because I just felt like there was something wrong with when we were told to stay inside. Nobody was saying, hey, you need to get some sunshine, go for a walk, build up your immune system, take vitamins. None of that was said. And I thought, what is that about? That just seems so crazy to me. And so you'll understand more during the webinar of my experiences and why that's what I kind of brought up and formulated was there's something wrong here. There's something missing. They're not telling us the right things to be doing. So that's what I did last year. And one of the windows or doors that got open for me was to go see Barbara O'Neill. And she's a nurse practitioner, wellness director, all that good stuff, natural healer and all that. She is from Australia, a very interesting story. And this was really the first time she'd been in the United States, especially leading a whole seminar, a week-long seminar. So it was very intimate, very personal, and we got to learn lots of stuff. Ask her really good questions at the end, and she answered almost all of mine. But anyway, so I went with a friend, and it was just, oh my gosh, it changed my life. I was just like, wow, so many things I did not know. And my goal with this webinar is to inspire you, encourage you, empower you to go out there and ask questions for yourself. Don't just have an ailment, go to the doctor and say, okay, go to the pharmacist, get your meds, and go home. Because drugs do not heal. Medicine is good. I'm not saying medicine is bad, and she didn't either. But there's so many things we can be doing to our body naturally because God designed our bodies to heal themselves with the right conditions. Repeat that. God designed our bodies to heal themselves with the right conditions. Doesn't mean medicine's bad. There's a lot of good medicines out there. The doctors are good. Surgeries, you break your arm, heck yeah, I want some pain medicine. Heck yeah, I want you to reset my arm, whatever. But it's also important for us to take our health and be our own patient advocate because there's a lot of stuff out there that's being given to us that's not good for us. It's not going to do anything but prolong the end result. It may even be not good for you. And I'm going to give you this webinar, all the highlights of her book, Sustain Me, which is an acronym for the ways that she feels like that you should be able to live your best life and heal yourself and all that good stuff. And you'll hear as you go. But if you don't have the book, I encourage you to go to her website and get it. Here's a little acronym chart. So there's sunshine, use of water, sleep, trust in divine power, abstaining, which is my hardest one, inhale, nutrition, and then moderation and exercise. Go to therealbarbaraoneal.com. I'll post the link below. But if you go there and go to her social media, you'll know you're in the right spot. The crazy thing about her, and I'm not some big social media expert, but I could not believe when I got there to realize how many people are copying her. How many people have the sites that say Barbara O'Neill, or they'll have her picture and you see her video, it's her, but they've just stolen it. And then at the link, they're going to try to sell you some body lotion or something. She does not advocate any of that. She has very few products that she advocates, and those are on her website. And that's all through her wellness clinic because she does heal people, and she does it using these principles. So anyway, but she was actually thrown out of Australia, her home country, basically told not to ever talk again. And there's a book that her husband Michael wrote. I got to meet him, that he wrote that actually explained what happened and how crushing it was for her. But it's true to what I was saying about God opening up doors, is that this happened to her, and as devastating as it was, all these doors opened up for Barbara. Now she's touring the country. She's going to America, Dubai, all over India, teaching and lecturing and sharing what she knows. So that to me is happy blessing, and it is for her too. She never ever dreamed that this would be her life today, is traveling to tell her story and to share what she knows to be true. So my hope is that you feel empowered by what you're learning to go get her book, to ask questions. Again, be your own patient advocate, be your family's own advocate. Don't just say okay and go home with whatever they tell you. Not that they're wrong, but you need to make sure it's the right thing for your body. Additionally, at the end, I'm going to offer a 6-week course that you guys can, sign up for, and we're going to really dig deeper. It'll be a course each week. It'll be a live Zoom call, so it'll be interactive. We can talk, chat, whatever, and you'll be able to see more about what's in her book, because this just skims the surface. I mean, just doesn't even really get into all of it. There's a lot of different natural remedies, poultices. If I'm not saying the right word, but like the honey, the onion on the bottom of your foot, different things like that. She's taught me so much. You'll see later in the webinar how cayenne pepper helped me. So those are some things that she taught. And then during the 6-week course, we'll cover that, dive in deeper, but we'll also cover some other things that I've learned along the way, like honey and garlic and different things like that I think is so important to share. I haven't been sick in 2 years, and I really do believe it's because of some of the things I'm doing, natural remedies, if you will. So sit back, enjoy the webinar, take notes, because I think you're going to learn some good stuff, and then hopefully you'll sign up for the 6-week course. Okay, so Barbara's first principle in Sustain Me, the first S stands for sunshine. Believe it or not, the sun is not our enemy. I know that for me, I've been raised to think, oh yeah, it's really bad, which kind of makes sense since I was like 7 in Galveston, a day at the beach. I'm a white girl, I'm Irish. I'm at the beach, and I come back and I'm blistered, like big old whelps, they tell me. It's the family story. I don't remember much about it, but I know they had to rush me to the hospital. Penicillin was involved, and a wool blanket. Oh my gosh, did I hate that wool blanket. Itchy, itchy, itchy. But from then on, it was always, oh, Lori's going to burn, Lori's going to burn. And yeah, I usually did. But usually as I got older, I would maybe get red. I wouldn't blister. I think, to me, when you say burn, you mean blister. And really that's the only time I can remember that ever really happened. But I know that from what Barbara tells us is that every time you sunburn, maybe with blisters, I'm not sure, maybe not, but that is when you're going to increase your risk for having skin cancer one day. So what she says is, because the sun is so vital to our health, vitamin D is super important, and you only get it from the sun, or the main way that you get is the sun, is that you want to spend 15 minutes at a time, and then cover up. 15 minutes on your front, 15 minutes on your back, and then cover up. If you're out working in the yard or the garden, you want to put your hat on, put on a jacket or a sweater, whatever, and just cover it up, right? Because the toxins in all these creams and sun blockers are killing us. They're hurting us. And most importantly, which I did not know, is that the way that you absorb vitamin D the best is through your eyes. So we all, even though I think I look really, cool with these glasses on, you don't want them on all the time. You want to have at least 15 minutes a day with the sun in your eyes, because that's the way it's absorbed, is through your eyes. That's how you get your vitamin D. So that was really eye-opening for me. No pun intended. But so her basic thing is you're going to spend 15 minutes, and then as you start to brown and tan, then you can spend longer periods of time out there without covering up. And of course, if you're another ethnic group, Hispanic, whatever, you're darker already, so you can start out being out there probably an hour before you have to cover up, and maybe you don't even have to. So Barbara told a story about, I don't know why, but it really resonated with me, but in their wellness clinic, they have lots of people that come to see them that are diagnosed with diseases, they're just sick. And this one particular man came, he was very obese, diabetic, and other issues. And the very first thing they did was put him up in a secluded spot there at the wellness center, outside on a blow-up mattress in the sun for 15 minutes on either side for 2 weeks. And then, of course, nutrition and water and all that came into play. But the sun is our friend. It is our medicine. It is medicine. And we need to have it. It's a natural medicine. God intended for it to heal us. And we need to have the vitamin D. It's just so important. That's another thing why during the pandemic, which I think kind of opened my eyes to a lot of this, is why were they telling us to stay inside? My first reaction was, at the very beginning, I'm like, yeah, oh my gosh, everybody hunker down, turn off the lights, are we being invaded? What's happening? But after, 2 or 3 days, I'm like, what? We need to stay inside? Like, don't even go outside in your backyard? I could not figure that out. We need the sun. We need nature. We need to exercise, go walking. I just couldn't get over that. So that again just reinforces my thoughts that the things that she teaches us and that we can learn other places too. But I mean, hearing it from her, I'm like, we need the sun. So take off your sunglasses. Don't keep your shades on all the time, and get some sun in your eyes, and then see what happens. I really do think you're going to see the difference. So her second principle in the Sustain Me book, and the acronym, of course, each letter stands for something, so is the U, and that is use of water. Water is super important. I feel really blessed that my mother drank a lot of water. I mean, I can remember being in junior high or elementary school, like 5th and 6th grade. I would go to bed with water every single night. I didn't drink it all, but it'd always be right there by my bedside. And I just always loved it. I didn't take it to school and stuff. And as I got older, not ride it to work it yet, because we didn't have Yetis to keep it cold. And I like it cold. Although I do miss the kind of familiarity of being out on the ranch in Hamilton. And Granddaddy would have a big old, milk jug filled with water. And it's warm. But hey, it really tasted good. Anyway, so water is super important. Did you realize that our bodies are made, right? We've all heard it's made of like 75% of water. So let's just say that 100% of whatever amount that is in us. Did you know that 75% of that amount is in our brain? In our brain, water is so important, not just for inflammation and hydration, though, is what keeps our brain working. If you're dehydrated, that's why people, when they get dehydrated, they're like, loopy or whatever. They're not right. And that's why, because they don't have enough water. Now, the other thing that we've been discouraged about, as we all know, is salt. Salt is a good thing if it's the right kind of salt. Now, iodine salt, I read different things about it, so I don't know much about it, but I do know it's what we always use, table salt. But Barbara introduced me to Celtic salt. I've been using sea salt, which is kind of the same thing, but Celtic just kind of like the organic of mineral salt, I guess. But so I actually have my Celtic salt is what I use to cook with, and I cook a lot, to season anything with. I don't ever table salt anything, but this is what I use in cooking. And what she says to do is take a crystal size of your Celtic salt. There's a crystal size underneath your tongue, and I actually like it, underneath your tongue, and then you just drink your water. You don't have to drink a lot, but when you take the salt, you should drink a little bit, maybe half a glass full. 4 ounces or something like that. Anybody that knows me personally, especially my family, they know that wherever I go, I have my water. At one company I used to work for, I worked for a bunch of men, and they would always joke when I'm walking into the office, they could hear me coming. Here comes Lori, because they could hear my jingle. Because I literally don't go anywhere without it. And they would, of course, joke about, is that vodka in there? I'm like, no. And I measured it up several different times, and I drank it probably close to 90 ounces a day, which is really good. But you really have to replace what you're using. And on average, you're using 2.5 liters a day. And that's through talking, through sweating, different ways that you're going to lose water. So you need to replenish it every day with at least 2 liters, which comes out to be about, I think it was 33 ounces, 33.8 ounces. So some people think you're supposed to chug-a-lug it. Get your 33 ounces in, chug-a-lug. But actually, you should be sipping on it all day long, which is what I do. And I just got lucky in that respect because I just carry it with me. I had a doctor years ago, in my late 20s, just a normal GP, and I was telling her about water, and she talked about how important it is, and she told me to drink it cold with ice. So that's why I'm in that habit of mine has ice in it. So there's different theories on that, but she told me that you want your body to work to warm it up as you drink it. So it works for me. So I swear I have my water all the time. And my kids, one of my kids actually said one day, oh my gosh, Mom, that water is your emotional support water. I mean, because literally I will turn back around and go back home just to get it if I forgot it, if we're going somewhere. So that's what I had to say about water. Now, one of my daughters actually said one day, Mom, that water you carry, that's your emotional support water. And I'm thinking, you might be right. Because if I forget it when I leave the house to go somewhere, I'm going to turn around and go and get it. Because I have to have it. I can't even stop and get a plastic water jug. Now, luckily, I have a filter on my refrigerator. And I also have a well. So I want to drink the right kind of water. Not, something that's got something else in it or the plastic that it's put in. So be mindful about that as well. It's funny to me because I have friends that will say, oh, I drink tons of water, blah, blah. But I never see them with water. And I just don't believe that. I just don't think they're drinking enough. So it's just so important, y'all. These little things that for somehow and throughout the last 30, 60 years of our country, we've just gotten away from it. We want more convenient things, things that are faster, a pill to solve everything. And the little things that God has given us is all we need to keep our bodies healthy. Okay, so her third principle is about sleep. And sleep is really important. Now, I was never one of that kind of person that, because I heard about friends that, oh my gosh, I can't fall asleep. I'm counting sheep till 4 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, they really struggled with it. I'd read about it, I'd hear about it, grandparents, parents, and then just my own friends, of course, as I've gotten older too. But it wasn't until my breast cancer that I had and the recovery from that, and then my 2 back surgeries right after that, that I even started to have a disruption in my sleep. Because I was never like that. I was a person that the minute I hit the bed, my head hit the bed, hit the pillow on the bed, I was out within like 30 seconds. Now, that could be because I'm a night owl and I stay up till 12, 1. And I don't know, I've just always been like that. Barbara teaches that actually we should all be going to sleep like the sun tells us, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, if you're in daylight savings time, she actually said. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, never. I mean, my kids never even went to bed early. And they're 3 functioning, high functioning adults and have careers and very responsible. So it's not like they're party animals and stay up all night. But that's kind of when I got things done. Of course, we all have different, seasons in our lives. So maybe when I was raising my kids and working on PTA stuff and all that, that would keep me up later. But it is just so important we have sleep, restful sleep. And until my surgeries, I got a disruption from, taking pain relievers and then just being up and down, trying to recover from all these surgeries. And I think that's disrupted it a lot. But now I'm still kind of suffering from it. So I'm trying to figure out, listening to some of the things that Barbara has said, because I know that it is so vital to our health. I mean, we all know if we don't get enough sleep the day before, we're going to be hangry. We're going to be sleeping at our desk. We're just not going to feel good. And then more than likely, we're going to go home, go to bed early, catch up on that sleep, but it may still not do the trick of making us feel our best. So she does say, and I've learned from other sources, is that what you sleep on, the sheets, are very important. And I definitely have always slept on brushed cotton, sateen, which I'm not sure what that material is, maybe flannel. But the best sheets you can sleep on is linen. And I just, from my own personal experience, I've actually bought some. Oh my gosh, game changer. You're cooler. It just feels so much better. But the main thing is you want to sleep on a natural fiber. Don't sleep on a polyester or a polyester blend or acrylic or anything like that, which I doubt you would do that. But there are crazy ingredients put into sheets nowadays. So you've got to look at the label and try to choose something that's natural. It's just going to be better for your body. And that goes for what you're wearing on your body. But we'll get into that later. But for now, sleep's the most important thing. She also said that it's very important that you go to sleep, just like when you eat, that you eat in a peaceful environment. So that's, I think, where the old adage comes from, don't go to bed angry. Because if you go to bed angry, it's going to stay with you. It's going to maybe be in your dream or your psyche or whatever. And it's not good for a good, restful sleep. So try to either, if you're all anxious about the things you got to do tomorrow, write it down. Have that list next to you. Write it down. Okay, you're done. Maybe read your Bible, read a verse or two, and get some good sleep based on that peacefulness of what you just did before you sleep. Which, of course, we're now learning more and more about our phones. Who doesn't use their phone for their alarm clock? Please, I'm fixing to do this myself. Because it's right there, and I kind of measure it's 1 foot from where I'm sleeping. It needs to be 2 feet from where I'm sleeping. Better yet, in the other room, and then you have an alarm clock, an old-fashioned alarm clock. Because that blue light, EMF, whatever, it is transmitting all kinds of stuff. They even say that your TVs in your room and different things like that, they're emitting that energy while you sleep, even if they're off. So some people will cover them up with a sheet. I have a really great friend who I love dearly. Did that in a hotel room we were at for a conference. At first I thought, what? But hey, I mean, she says that's the truth, so I have to hold her at it. So these are things that you can look into for yourself. If you're having trouble sleeping, think about what you can do. Maybe some blackout curtains, maybe some, what's that thing they're using now? My kids use it for my grandson, but it's the noise makers like the ocean or the rain. That helps for a lot of people. So just think about it and just remember it's on your top priority. And in the Sustain Me acronym, it's the third one. Not that anyone's more important than the other, but there's sunshine, use of water, and sleep. Get your best sleep. It's so important. Okay, so the next principle is trust in divine. So sustain, SUST, is trust in divine. My personal prayer is that you know who that is, Jesus Christ. But if you don't, that's okay. I'm sure you maybe have a divine power somewhere else. If not, I invite you to search Jesus out and find out if he's the right person for you. I believe he is for all of us. But so my Bible is very important to me. My faith is extremely important. I've been through lots of tribulations. I'm 61 years old. Yeah, I know I look 45, but I'm 61, and so it's gotten me through everything. I've never ever felt him not with me. Even when I'm going down the wrong path, and I'm definitely not perfect, far from it. But I just know that he's there and he has a purpose for us. I do believe he's been leading me to do this for a long time. Because I spent the whole last year, I think I said in my intro, was that I spent the whole last year just trying to, research and learn and discover and find out what the truth is. That's really what I'm trying to empower you to do, is to ask questions. Look for yourself, research for yourself, because there is a better way. Somewhere along the line, like I said earlier, 30, 60 years ago, we were just wiggled out of all this natural stuff. This is really the way life was meant to be enjoyed and to live. I mean, as far as working, who the heck came up with 40 hours? I don't remember voting for that. I mean, apparently that's just the normal standard. Really? Maybe it should be 20 hours a week and then 20 hours not. I don't know. But that's just some things to think about. So trust in your divine power. If you have an issue with your body and you're a condition, something that's happening, you just got to, look at it, research it, pray about it. I mean, you can find the right answer and what you need to do to help yourself heal. Now, I know that there's a law of gratitude, which is in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, and everything give thanks in Jesus Christ our Lord. And I know that my mentor, Danelle Delgado, she actually has a book that she wrote that all of us use in her group, and it says, I choose joy. It's amazing what you'll discover when you either use a book like this or you just do it yourself, but every morning just write down what you're thankful for. It's, it's like I was saying about sleep. When you maybe list it before you go to bed, you'll sleep better. Giving thanks, recognizing what you have, what your blessings are, will make all the difference in your life. I really, really, really encourage you to at least do that. Don't be negative. We need positive emotions to change our health, to change the way we look at life, how we enjoy life. That's the most important thing, I think. So you really have to trust in your divine power. And Barbara says, we need to laugh more, to be more enjoyable, to have more fun with life. We just laugh more. So, I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying it's really important to have humor, to try to look at the good thing, the funny thing. I know you can't always maybe do it at the moment of the situation, but if you can, try to go back and look at the humor of it. And just try to laugh more. If you have to put on Seinfeld or something, watch a happy show or a funny show, and just get more laughter into your life. Okay, so her very next principle is abstain. Now, this is my notes here. It's not our fault. It's not our fault, y'all. I mean, we are like this for a reason. Again, we were just kind of just led through this path of not the right things to eat and do, from fast foods to processed foods for time savers. And it's just, the more you know, it's like, once you know, you can't forget, Once you know, you know. And it just, drives me crazy. But anyway, so I want you to know that. So these are the abstain things. I had to use my notes for this one because it's kind of lengthy. But basically, refined sugar is the number one thing. And that is in everything, pretty much, that we eat or drink until we know better. And then it's hard to get away from it. Like, I'm a huge Dr. Pepper lover. I'm kind of happy that they came out with the Dr. Pepper back again from when the plant closed in Dublin, Texas, to real sugar cane. And I'm wondering, is that healthier? Because I love my Dr. Pepper. But I wasn't like a person that got a Sonic drink every morning or always had one. But when I ate certain things, it's like, it just needs to have, like pizza. Need to have a Dr. Pepper with it, a soda. But I stopped eating fast food like 2 years ago. I think I've gone maybe twice to Chick-fil-A in that whole time. And I was always either going to Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell was my go-to, maybe Whataburger. But now I just don't have any desire to go there anymore. Makes it hard though, because that means you have to be prepared to fix your own food, your own snack, your own quick meal. And there's lots of ways to do that. In this series, if you sign up for the course later, I'm definitely going to be showing you some different things that you can make. They're super simple. I've actually started making sourdough a lot, and sourdough bread is awesome. So we'll talk more about that during nutrition. But anyway, so even though the dietary requirements have changed over the years, The strongest evidence has always proven that for optimal performance, these things should not enter the body. Number one, refined sugar, like we just talked about. It's pure acid. We need to have an alkaline body. I actually just bought some test strips that I can like pee on and find out if I'm alkaline or acidic, but it's just super important. I've had breast cancer, and they say the cancer feeds on that sugar. So if you want to not get cancer, I think it would kind of make sense not to have refined sugar or any kind of sugar in your body like that. Then your brain suffers, and it can only hold a 2-minute supply of glucose, caffeine, alcohol. Oh my gosh, really? I mean, I like to have occasional drink, cocktail. The neurotoxins effectively kill brain cells. The thing about brain cells is you can't get them back. A lot of things you can, like if you were a smoker and your lungs are messed up, your lungs will actually regenerate. It may take a while, but it will happen. A lot of things in your body will get better, but not for a brain cell, apparently. So for clarity in mind and effective decision making, the nerve cells in the brain cannot regrow. Once they're gone, they're gone. Tobacco, which hopefully most people are not smoking anymore. Chemicals. And it's funny about tobacco because it's not so much the nicotine, it's the inhaling of it. We'll talk about that in a second. Chemicals, everything has chemicals in it. That's why I'm so frustrated and against or whatever. A lot of the big pharma medicines, they're just drugs. They're just chemicals. They don't cure anything. They don't heal anything. All they do is mask your symptoms. That's why natural remedies are so important. And they actually do the job. Believe that. God designed our bodies to heal themselves with the right conditions. So the chemicals are, of course, in food, toothpaste, shampoo, laundry detergent. They're everywhere. Oh, did someone say the sky? Well, I do know for me, after hearing all this a year and a half ago, I've changed my deodorant. I've changed my shampoo, my laundry detergent, just to do whatever I can. Am I ever going to be perfect? No, but I can make whatever little steps I can make to at least try to make a difference in my own health and my family's health and wealth. It's funny because for women, so I always use Sure or antiperspirant, I guess, just the stick kind. I couldn't stand that gel. It was always so sticky. But anyway, so I use it forever since high school. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing that, wow, it's got poisons in it. It's toxic. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I bought some natural deodorant. So I'm using it, and I've really found a really good brand. Now, I've gone through 3 different brands. I found one that I really like now by Shackley. But anyway, so I'm using the first kind, and I'm laying on the bed one Friday night, I think it was, just leaning back, watching TV, and Umberto walks in. He snuggles up, and then, kiss, and then he walks off to go watch his show, whatever. And I remember when he was laying there, I go, oh, honey, I think it's time for a shower. Because how men are, they work, they sweat, and today's not a good day. You need to go take a shower. And he got okay, yeah, all right. So he walks off. The minute he left, I still smell it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's freaking me. So it was definitely something that you have to kind of let your body get adjusted to, but it does adjust. Just like when I talked about water, if I heard this from my wife, I went, oh, I can't drink a lot of water. I'll pee all night long. Your body needs to work up to that. So anything that you introduce to your body that's not used to having this much or whatever, you have to do it gradually. So you'll drink, 16 ounces one day and 24 ounces 2 days later. Let it work up to it, and then you won't have that problem of going to pee a lot. I don't think you will. I just know that how important these things are. You got to try it, and then don't give up. If it doesn't work, research it. Find out how you can make it work, because you need to be doing it. Although I'm never going to be eating broccoli, so I don't need to research that. Okay, so, and I couldn't believe fluoride is a neurotoxin. Oh my gosh, I love the dentist. I've been going since I was little. I used to have braces, the whole bit. And I used to love that feeling when they clean my teeth and that fluoride gritty stuff. I don't know, I liked it. A few years back, I remember going for my annual whatever, from every 6 weeks or every 6 months. And I was like, are you going to do the fluoride? Oh no, we don't do that anymore. I thought, well, that's weird. I was kind of mad. Then what am I paying for, And then I found out it was because it's toxic. Now, I did know, or I remember years ago when I was raising my babies, we drank Ozarka water from a water system we had in the house. And then the pediatrician was saying, well, they need fluoride, blah, blah. But they say that if you use your tap water for cooking, they'll get enough fluoride from that. I was like, okay. So I thought it was a good thing. It's not. It's full of whatever, neurotoxins. So I can't believe it took us that long to figure that part out. So again, when we go back to an interesting point here, there was no diabetes until refined sugar was introduced. Now, isn't that amazing? Questions to be asking yourself, things to be looking at. I just found out my sister took me for my birthday to see Cody Johnson. We stayed in a hotel there near the concert center. Cynthia Woods, I think it was, yeah. And I remember waiting to get fixing to go, or the next morning or late that night. I found a show on just normal TV called The Food That Built America. Oh my gosh, it's been around forever. And I'm like, okay, when I got home, I'm now watching it because it's free to watch. And I was like, that's amazing because it's so interesting to watch how, I mean, we're talking from Hershey's chocolate, Kellogg's cereal, the whole bit. And you can see the evolution of food and how it came from this point to that point. And again, we'll talk more about that during the nutrition one. But back to abstain. It's just, you got to think about these things that we need to stay away from. And just remember that really, y'all, all drugs are chemicals. Some of them, I guess, maybe we have to have. But the main thing to think about this is that these drugs, they don't heal anything. They just mask things. And if we go into this series, we're going to talk lots more about statins, lots of information there that I'd love to share with you now, but I'm going to hold off on it. Mercury, lots of stuff. So it is in the body and the body alone. And this is good here. She just say this. It is in the body and the body alone that can heal. And that happens when you give it the right conditions. Nothing else heals, not even an herb. Nothing heals anything. So again, we have to get back. We have to start thinking of things about being preventative, which is why when the pandemic happened, I couldn't believe they were telling us, hey, boost your immune system, up your vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc. They weren't saying any of that stuff. That's what we should have been doing, was building up our immune system, fight off anything that we could get, but they weren't. So that's a big question that I have. So anyway, abstain from the wrong things if you can. And it's going to take a process. It's going to take a while. Don't give up. So our very next principle in the Sustain Me is for I, and that's inhale, breathing in oxygen. Super, super important. Every living thing needs oxygen to survive. We need to have good oxygen. So I know that if you live in the country, I'm sad to say, but you do get better oxygen out there. You don't have as many fumes from cars and factories and so forth as in the city, as you have in the city. You don't have that in the country. So the air is better out here. So you need to try to take your vacations maybe in the country if you have to live in the city. It's just super important. One thing I didn't realize, though, that she brought up was we have become, as a society, what they term short-term breathers or short breathers. We should be long-term breathers, which means we're sitting at computers all day, and so we have no reason, we're not being exerted. There's no reason to have to breathe, longer and deeper. And usually if you actually think about it, when somebody goes like that, you think, oh, what's wrong? You just automatically assume they must be upset about something. But no, we need to be long-term breathers. So she also talks about how you need to breathe long, deep breaths, so deep breathers, and you need to do it through your nose. I remember way back when doing, I think, aerobics or something, they always go breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. No. You should be breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. It's all that was designed for. We're not meant to breathe anything through our mouth, which is, I think, why smoking's so bad. It's not so much nicotine, it's the breathing it into your lungs, because it needs to go through your nasal passage. That's what your nose was created for. Makes sense, huh? I mean, a lot of this is just common sense. So again, and of course, the first one you take, it's a little short maybe, you can't really hold it as long. The next one, you hold it longer. The next one, hold it longer. So really try to think about it. Set the timer on your phone and just see how see if you can see the difference of being a long, deep breather, 5 times a day. When you hear your alarm go off, do it for 5 repetitions at that time, and then 2 hours later, do it again. And after a while, it'll become habit. Because we really need to be conscious about it, because it's super important that we're breathing long, deep breaths through our nose and out through our nose. It will definitely make a difference. Okay, so her next one is on nutrition. It's the N in sustain. And it's packed full of stuff. I mean, I could talk to you for 2 hours, just what I learned from her, and then another 5 hours on other things that I've researched and learned along the way, which I really would want to get into when we, dig deeper during the course. There's a lot of stuff that I've learned that I'm using. I haven't been sick in 2 years. Seriously, no cold, no, definitely no flu, anything like that. I can remember every year getting a little sick, which I guess is the flu, which most people call it, a sickness where they're in bed, they don't feel good for 3 or 4 days. The flu, which is probably not the flu. It's just a virus, that's all, which the flu is a virus, but it's not really the flu. It's just a bad cold, whatever. And sometimes I think our body does that to us. So they say, hey, you need some rest. You need some nutrition. You need some sleep. Who knows? But I do know that doing fire cider has changed my life. I take this every single day. I just open it up. It's my own bottle, and I just take a big old swig of it. I can make some of myself. My friends tend to like that one better. And it's apple cider vinegar. So it's pretty, tart, but I like it. And my personal one, even if it has it in there, it's not as tart as this brand, but I really love this one. So I that's what I use. I also have honey and garlic, which is here. There's a bunch of cloves and honey. And then I have honey and onion. And that's here for people that don't like garlic. Those are great cough suppressants. Not a cough drop, not a cough medicine. I don't have to take Sudafed, nothing like that. I just use these things. That's it. And people that I know, friends, family, they're doing the same thing, and they're the same way. Another game changer has been the neti pot. I don't know. I'd love to know. So if you do the course, I want to really get in to see who has done this before, but it is freaking amazing. In fact, my cameraman here, I got him doing it because he was taking all his allergy medicines, and he's doing it once a week. And then if you get sick, you just do it every single day. But basically, if you don't know what it is, we'll get into it in our 6-week course. But I promise you, it's definite game changer. So, but these are things that she didn't really push. She didn't really talk about it. But she talked about other, poultices and things you can do to garlic on the bottom of your foot. She touched on a lot of that stuff. These are just other things that I found that have worked for me, that I truly believe in what I'm reading about them. And of course, just experiencing it in myself. So, your 3 essential food groups are fiber, protein, and fats. It's funny how when we grew up, or at least when I grew up, the pyramid. Really, I cannot sit down and eat a meal that doesn't have a protein, a veggie, a carb, whatever, right? But that's not what we have to eat. If you think about other cultures, they'll just eat a bowl of whatever, and it satisfies all these 3 things: fiber, protein, and fats. Recently, because we're all trying to lose weight, again, it's not our fault. We've been led down the wrong path. We've been sold a bunch of what. So I'm like, why can I not lose weight? I mean, I don't hate the body weight that I am. My weight's always fluctuated with like 20 pounds. But please, there's got to be a reason why I can't just be the size I want to be and feel full, right? Without medication or diet pills and stuff. And I think I've discovered it, and it's protein. And people think, oh, yeah, I heard about that. But what I've discovered, I think you'll be really surprised about. So again, if you do this 6-week course, we'll dig in deeper. But your gut, I definitely know this, and I definitely want everybody to know about this. Your gut, they call it leaky gut. Your gut is really the center of everything about you. All the problems you have in your body, diseases, sicknesses, it's all about your gut. I even think autism. And there's lots of research that shows that. A lot of the vaccines have that metal in it, mercury, metal, whatever. You got to detox from that if that were to happen to one of your, babies or something. So there's lots of information here I want to cover. But your highest fiber foods are plants and vegetables, fruit being the highest. And it's funny because I don't know why, but I always thought fiber was carbohydrates. I just thought that was in that group of bread and rice and all that. No. Fiber definitely is found in lagoons. I was like, lagoons? I'm like on my phone during the conference going, what's a lagoon, And it's all these it's actually a lagoon. It's called a lagoon, but there's more things in it. Falls in that fiber category, like beans and so forth. And I love beans, but I had no idea. So I've been buying lagoons. I've been experimenting with recipes, and I think I got to find a pretty good one with some Italian sausage. But we need lagoons. And also, guys, we can have this stuff for breakfast. So she definitely talked about this. The way we should be eating, and the same way it falls in with the sun, and when the sun sets, that's when we should be getting ready for bed and going to bed early. And you get up when the sun comes up, which is a whole new thing for me, right? But she said, you eat like a king for breakfast, for lunch like a prince, And for dinner, like a pauper. If you eat like a pauper, which means you don't eat much at all, you give your body when you go to bed time to rest. If you eat a heavy meal, which I have to tell you, I have a confession. I have done that forever, mainly because my mother she worked at her own CPA firm, and we were doing activities just like it was when I had my girls. I did know then though that you need to eat sooner, so I was kind of trying to have be creative in what they ate on the way to cheer practice. But basically, if you're eating a heavy meal before you crash out and fall asleep, your body's not resting, your stomach's not resting because it's still just regurgitating and going, and lots more to mention about that. But anyway, so that's really good. So your best fats are found in nuts and seeds, like avocado. Fats from two oils extracted from plants are the healthiest is coconut oil, uh, and of course extra olive. But I was surprised. I don't use canola, nothing like that anymore, because when I fry up some tacos or something, or whatever, I'm using coconut oil, and they actually sell it in the liquid form, and that's what I'm using. So that's something to think about. Anyway, but you get your nutrients from your food. If you can, the taste that you get from your food is actually the minerals that are in the food. I didn't really realize the difference between a vitamin and a nutrient, and we'll talk about that in our 6-week course. But also organic, if you can buy organic, it will give you 9 times more minerals. And minerals are super important. I think it's kind of overlooked sometimes. We don't realize that there is a difference between that and, say, a vitamin like D or C or something. Very, very important. Let's see. And again, I just want to reiterate that there was no diabetes until refined sugar came along. So there's a lot to go about nutrition, but that's what I know for now. These are some of the things I'd love to share with you. And again, what we put in our body and when we put it in our body it's crucial to living a healthy, happy lifestyle. Okay, so in the Sustain Me principles, the me stands for moderation for M and E for exercise. So moderation, it's a hard word for me to get my head around because I've never been moderate about just about anything. If I get excited about something, I'm gonna go all in and overdo it probably. But it's super important that we look at that. So anything that's good for you can also be bad for you if you don't use it effectively, if you don't use it moderately and use it in the right timing, because you can overdo anything. However, there is one herb you cannot overdo, and that's cayenne pepper. So I have a healthy heart. I've struggled with my sugars being high, but that's really about it. And so I had a problem with my eye, which is another story I'll get into in our six course week, our coursework. But my eye was closed, and so I had my doctor ran an ultrasound down here, sent me to the clinic, had that done. And then it was like 30% blockage, which to be 61, that's not bad at all. And so she sent me to a cardiovascular surgeon and then a cardiologist, and they're the same outfit in Kingwood. So I went to the surgeon first, and he walked in kind of laughing. He goes, okay, why are you here? I go, well, I don't know. My doctor just told me to come. He goes, okay, because I don't see people until they're like, I don't know, 80%. He goes, but that's fine, nice to meet you. And then he mentioned 30% blood. And I said, well, I was going to try what I learned from Barbara O'Neill, is taking like an 1/8 of a teaspoon to half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper with a little bit of water, whatever, and shoot it and see if that would unblock my arteries, because Barbara talked that it did. That cayenne pepper will unblock all your arteries. And so when I said that to him, he goes, oh yeah, that's not going to work. And I'm like, okay. So then he leaves. I didn't even stop him and try to fight with him. And I usually would do that. So then I went to the cardiologist the next week, and they kind of worked together. And in walks this buff-looking dude, and he walks in. He goes, hey, he goes, what are you doing here? You look great. And I wish I had thought to say, yeah, well, you don't look so bad yourself, because he was really cute, young kid. And he says, he goes, so I told him, I don't know, I'm just told to come here. Okay, well, yeah, you look super healthy, blah, blah. And then he ran I can't remember now what it was, some test the week later. And he said again, he goes, yeah, you're very healthy. He goes, and then I told him about the cayenne pepper, because it is 30% blocked. And he said, when I started to tell him about it, he was leaving the room. He literally stopped, shut the door, turned around, pulled up his stool and said, tell me more. He goes, I'm all over that stuff. Because he's a guy that works out, obviously. And he said, I'm with my nutrition all the time. We're always talking about these natural herbs and all that. I go, well, I've been learning that it does work. And it's the only herb on the planet that you cannot get too much of. So when we talk about moderation, Cayenne pepper's an exception. I think the only one. But anyway, so I was telling him about it. He goes, you know what? I think it's going to work. I definitely think it's going to work. He goes, you're coming back next year anyway, just to do a follow up and recheck your ultrasound. So let's just try it. We'll do our own little mock trial. I said, okay. That's the first time that I've had a doctor, a specialized doctor, embrace that, and I love that. And let me say now that, when you talk about it, you'll see in the course is that, we sit there and we kind of get upset about the medical field and how they're not teaching us and natural remedies and so forth. But the thing is that it's not their fault. When they went to medical school, they didn't learn both sides of it. And I learned that from the frontline doctors. And they were the ones spearheading the whole, what you need to do to get rid of, the C word, COVID. So that was the thing there, was that it just really opened my eyes about that. And there's lots more to say about it. But anyway, so back on track. So it's been a year, and I went in to have my thing rechecked. It's 15% less blocked. So you got to, it worked. It absolutely worked. It's like 15% blocked. So yeah, it's just amazing. The things that you can try, doesn't hurt to try it, right? And again, moderation is very, very key on everything you do. And there's lots more things to discover about what can help us. And I do have one more story to tell you. So when you talk about moderation and what's the right things to do to, eat healthy, get plenty of rest and all that. When I was in my mid-20s, I was at the Art Institute studying design. And while I was there, I'm in my mid-20s. I need a real job kind of thing. I can't work at retail. And the school had a program where they would pay half if you went for a nonprofit, certain ones, your salary would come from half would come from the nonprofit, the other half would come from a grant from the school, the government. So I went to go work for the Hawthorne Clinic. It was the very first HIV testing clinic in Houston, and just about anywhere. And we're right there in the heart of Montrose, off of Montrose and Hawthorne. And I learned so much there. I can go into more, but I sat there. I knew everything there was about how you can get HIV, how it turns into AIDS, everything. But I remember I typed up the brochures that people got when they came back for their results, especially if they were positive, that said, look, you're positive, this is what you need to do. Because we didn't have any, medicines yet to help with this. But it gave Granny, it said, follow Granny's advice. Eat right, sleep, plenty of rest, exercise, sunshine. Is it all those things that we're seeing here? And I think if a lot of us think back to our family legacies, our grandparents, our great grandparents, that's where they all came from. They ate together, they had a conversation together, they prayed before they ate. All those things goes into your digestion, how your nutrition, how it's absorbed into your body. I can just go on and on. So anyway, that's what her other acronym for M was moderation. Everything in moderation. Okay, so our last acronym is E. And the E stands for what else? Exercise. That is, oh my gosh, besides nutrition, which, we've talked about so many things, but seriously, that's got to be the hardest one. I love it when I exercise. I've always imagined myself getting up at 5 o'clock and running and jogging through the neighborhood or through the hills or, whatever. And I've tried it so many times, and I'm just not a runner. But I do love to do things, but I'm more of a social person. So I usually like to do things where I'm able to meet a friend, or it's a sport that you're doing. So I love swimming in my pool. I love doing laps. It's so important. For me, I just love it. It's good for you. It doesn't, it's not hard on your joints and so forth. So as you get older, it's an awesome, awesome tool. I want to do, I'm learning water aerobics. Barbara talked about a rebounder, which is like the trampoline we tried 10 years ago. Well, this is a rebounder. It's a little bit more tougher, but it's amazing. And just walking. They used to say, and I so believe this, if you're in a bad mood, just get up and walk around the block. Take a walk. You'll come back in better spirit. You can do your deep inhaling when you're walking. Maybe you could walk with a friend, something like that. But every day, like from my mentor, Danelle Delgado, every day should be about no 0 days. We actually have t-shirts that say that. Every single day, you need to be moving for 30 minutes minimum. And that could be walking, that could be biking, that could be swimming, that could be doing the rebounder. It could be Pilates. I love Pilates. I love Pilates because You can actually do that from the time you're 5 until the time you die. I mean, it's amazing just the strength that you build. And it's actually like an aerobic workout. I do know also, and I haven't checked this, but from my own experience, I was always taught that if you're doing an aerobic exercise, the minute you stop, it stops. The benefit kind of stops. But if you're doing strength training, that's going to stay with you and keep working on your body for the next day. So there's a difference in the kind of exercise you're doing and what you're going to benefit from it. But anything's better than nothing. Barbara stood up there on one of her videos and she's talking to, she said, yeah, so building up your quads, I know that I heard this years ago too, is that when you look at an older person, you'll see them go to sit down in a chair and they like fall back. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't ever be doing that. So that was the thing, was always be just moving your body and again, everything you do, if you go, oh yeah, I did that, but my knees hurt. Well, then keep doing it. Do it for little bits of a time over time and build up. Don't just go in and say you need to do an hour of it. No, build it up, build it up. Don't give up. I mean, if you're going to give up, that's your choice. It's your life. But I know for me, I want to take advantage of the life I've been given and blessed with from God Almighty. So until the day He takes me home, I want to use it and have fun with it. So get out there and move, y'all. 30 minutes a day. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you at least have learned one good thing that you're like, wow, I'm so glad I know that now. And if you want to sign up for the 6-week course, I would love to take this journey with you. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. But I just know there's more out there that we don't know. And if there's anything I do before God calls me home, and that is to learn everything I can so that I can teach my children and my grandchildren. Because the last thing I want to do is to leave this earth with them thinking all the things that we've thought all these years, the wrong things.